What are you up to these days?
Oh, quite a bit. Doing a little bit of coaching the kids. Work a lot for Man United still. So keeping busy.
The coaching kids thing is always interesting. It's like, do you want to be a manager? Do you want to be a coach down the line? Or is this actually, that's the level of football that you have the appetite for?
No, honestly, I would probably down the line maybe like to teach older kids. Adults, yes, I suppose so, but at the moment it's good to get a little bit of experience with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Do you like football, having been a professional footballer for 20 years?
Love football.
It's an unusual question, but sometimes people are like, yeah, there was definitely a period there where I still love it, but you're still mad into it.
Loved it, even at the end, especially at the end of Sunderland when I knew wasn't really fit enough anymore, especially with my knees, to play on. I still carried on for a good 2 more years. And just because I love it, I love the lads, the changing room, everything that comes with it. So that's definitely what I miss. But I still watch football. I know a lot of players that will disagree and say they just did it as a job. But for me, it was everything.
It never became just a gig.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it's maybe how we grew up as well, a little bit. You know, it was something. I mean, my mum and dad would always used to tell me that I always had a ball from the age of maybe 2 or 3. One of them fly-away balls that you buy from Blackpool Pleasure Beach or something. But it's something, you know, I've always wanted to do. And then when you do get there, YTS, and you see the change room and the lads, and you understand that you're a group of players that are trying to, you know, make it into this first team, that it's what I've wanted to do all the time.
You made it at Man United quite young, isn't that right?
Yeah, I made my debut at 18.
Right. A lot of pressure, or kind of too young to understand that there's a lot of pressure involved?
Probably too young. If I'm being honest, I remember watching it the year before, thinking, wow, how am I going to compete and play with these guys? When you're watching stuff on the telly, when you're like 16, 17. But yeah, the manager put me in with the first team squad about 17, and he trusted me. He didn't put too much on me. You know, he just told me to relax and do what I do. And then gradually put me in, which I thought was fantastic. Nerve-wracking, but fantastic.
Yeah, what of that period stands out for you now when you think back about it?
My debut, I mean, I remember training the year before, and I was training against the likes of Mark Hughes, for instance.
Big man.
Oh my God. And I was a tall, skinny, fast kid.
I was watching some video footage of him yesterday that was doing the rounds on Twitter. Like, he's just barreling into people. It's all
got the biggest legs I've ever seen. Him and Unsworth, David Unsworth. But I remember the ball coming over, and I was pretty good in the air at the time, you know, for my age group. So I'm thinking I'm going to win it. Steps across, I go flying, he brings it down on his knee chest, and he always that when he always sort of brings it down on his chest. Turns out, lays it off. And I remember that day thinking, wow, I'm never going to make it. But it's just a learning curve, and, you know, you gradually learn how to deal with that. But you know, the gaffer trusted me, and he put me in the end. The end of
a period of time, we'll come back to some of the Man United stuff in a minute, but at the end of leaving a club that you've come through, is that a trauma when it happens? That, like, not that you don't go out and have a good time at Sunderland, but this was the biggest club in the world when you were coming through.
I think it was harder for me because I've never been anywhere else. I'm from Manchester, that was my home club. Never had to go into digs or anything like that. I just stayed at home. I mean, I lived with my mum and dad for a good 3 years while I was playing for Man United.
Right.
So it was very easy in that sort of sense, and it was a little bit difficult in the sense that, I mean, I was 31, I'm a grown man, and I've now got to leave the club that I've loved. I was there since a kid and come through, won many trophies with him, and now I've got to leave. You know, I didn't know it was time.
You didn't think it was?
No, I thought it was.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't playing. The gaffer brought in some different players. He brought in Chris Smalling, he brought in the twins, Fabio and Rafa from Brazil, and my knee wasn't holding up as good as it was, so I'd have to miss a few games. And, you know, when you're playing at that level, you know it's not acceptable. You know, you have to be 100% all the time, ready to go. And I think the injuries started to catch me up a little bit because I had them very early on, 2 cruciates.
Is there a conversation that happens?
Yeah, it's weird because I know the conversation is, listen, and I'm just like, boss, it's fine. I understand. I mean, I had a year left, so I could have stayed, but I knew I wasn't going to play at all. And half of me saying stay, just for that 1 year. But
in case it comes right, in case something better happens, or just to get as much time as you can.
I don't think I would have played anyway. But at the same time, you still want to play. And then obviously Sunderland come in, and it was funny at the time because the same sort of things was happening with John O'Shea.
Yeah.
So we've had a little chat, and I remember Sunderland wanted both of us at the time. So we was like, yeah, okay, it's time to go. And great time, we'll never forget it, but it's time to go. And I always remember signing a day before him, but we were supposed to sign on the same day, and I've signed, and I'm phoning him up asking him where he is, and he's like, I'm not sure I'm coming, which
no way,
absolutely killed me. But for whatever reason, he come and signed the next day.
All right, so okay.
I'm not gonna lie, it made it so much easier.
Yeah.
Someone who you also grew up with going with you. But Sunderland was a great club, great fans.
If he hadn't signed, you would never have forgiven him.
Not at all.
That's like we're doing this.
Phone, but no, when he's joking. No, he's a good lad. He's probably my best mate, and we've had some great times and some tough times together playing football. Coming
out of that, then there's just familiarity. It's like kids going to first day of school, having somebody from play school together. I mean, it's not quite the same analogy, but you know what I mean. It's like at least there's a familiar face.
It was a little bit different because I'm guessing the lads, we were very respected in the sense that we was at Man United and we won quite a lot. So we sort of had to step up onto take the reins a little bit. Obviously, John became captain in the end, but there was John and Lee Cattermole at the time. We become very respected, and we tried to sort out any issues with something was going on in the change rooms or whatsoever. But
did you enjoy that part of your career then in a way that you didn't?
It was good. I'll tell you why it was good, because every time, except for the first season, we was in a relegation battle, and I look back now and say, obviously I'm gutted that we was in that position, but the experience was fantastic because I've seen one side of it.
Yeah.
Where every season you're challenging for the championship and the other trophies, and then you go to Sunderland where you're pretty sure after the second season we don't make any more signings, we're going to struggle again. So just to stay on top of that and keep the lads together, which is difficult part of the game to do.
I think one of the things that everybody wants in life is to feel alive, and in a relegation battle, the whole club feels alive because they know they're playing for themselves and they're playing for the town. They're playing for their family, they're playing for their career. It's a mad situation, but I'm sure there's no boring days in training.
No, it's not. I mean, these dips, it can go one way or the other. There'd be times when you'd be getting beat every week, and that's hard, because then you've got to get the lads up, you've somehow get the point across that we've got to start doing it this way, that way, without sort of picking on anyone, because that's what the lads don't like. They don't like, pointing out certain things.
If only the midfielders would offer us a little bit of cover here, then maybe
when you start saying goals. Names, it gets even worse. It's hard to deal with that, but ultimately we had a good bunch of lads, and I think that always helps, who pretty much got on with each other. I'm not saying they were best friends outside of the pitch, but they pretty much got on with each other, and we understood that this is what we want to do, and to do it we're all just going to have to put our hands up and be honest and get out whatever needs getting out. If you've got anything against someone else, let's get it out. And then when we get on the pitch, we're all there again. So ultimately it worked, but again, we was doing this for 4 years.
Yeah, that has to be to your credit as a person and in the bank for the rest of your life, is that you didn't just sit out and play out your string at Manchester United and then retire or whatever, or hang around or take another job at the club. Like, you went off and you decided, actually, I'm going to find out about myself. What am I like as a man in these circumstances?
I went at a different time. Obviously, I was a little bit older, but at the same time, it was good to try something new, a different experience. I eventually went abroad as well, which I thought was excellent, just to experience that side of it. I went to India for 7 months. Can't even explain it to you. Completely different.
How did that come about?
Rennie Mullenstein was the head coach who used to coach me, obviously Man United, right. And he took me, Berbatov, over there, and I thought it was a fantastic experience. It's something that I probably would never do again, but it just shows you the different types of football and situations people play all over the world.
Yeah, and it's always good to experience another culture. Just a reminder, Wes is in Dublin today to help launch a new season of action on the Air Sport Pack, which includes every game in the UEFA Champions League and UEFA Europa League live on Virgin Media Sport, which is now part of the Air Sport Pack. Air Sport is also the home of the Rugby World Cup in Ireland. I don't know if you follow Rio Ferdinand on Instagram, but there was a funny little bit during the week where Gary Neville put something up about the team bus, and there was bright lights and Gary's face looked a little bit like that, and there was the eyes emoji from Rio going, "Oh, you look just like you did on that couch alongside Roy Keane last week."
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much, a lot of the lads follow each other. We're still in a WhatsApp group, to be fair, so we all have a good laugh at it. But I mean,
did Roy's video make it to the WhatsApp group from last week?
Yeah, bits of it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, bits of it, yeah. But listen, I mean, Keane was my captain for many years, and he's that sort of character, so you're going to get something special from him.
Yeah, we had a good night watching it. I don't know what it was like for you guys going,
yeah, the thing is, people obviously just dig out certain bits, but when you watch the whole thing, he talks a lot of sense.
Yeah, the whole thing, like he's charming and funny and looks a bit like a stand-up comedian, like somebody who kind of is capable of, there's 2,500 people in the room at that stage, and he's got them in the palm of his hands. What's that like in the dressing room?
Yeah, I mean, he was brilliant for me. You have to remember, I was coming up. Keane you could always go to him and ask him stuff. He'd be honest with you. In training, he was as tough as nails. It doesn't matter if you were 16, 15, 13, 7. He'd be the same exactly to everyone else, and I think that's why I respected him so much. On the pitch, he would do the same thing. The good thing is, forget about the talking on the pitch. He had your back, and hopefully I tried to have his back as well. And I think that's what part of being a team's all about.
Do you have memories about the time when he's leaving the club that Gary Neville referred to it as horrific? Those meetings around that time, and being tense. Is there a sense of tension when something like that's happening? When an iconic captain and an iconic manager are at it like rutting stags?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen it in different scenarios now that I've come to me end of my career, but it wasn't the best atmosphere. You got two big personalities, and it's a shame that they didn't sort it out proper before it happened. But I always say to people, football, that's what happens. Football's football, and certain things happen. You can be the next prospect kid, and then you could get injured the next day. So, you just have to take it how it is. But yeah, it could have been, probably sorted out in a much better way, but you've got two very big personalities there. And
were you, so Neville said he'd never seen anything like it. This is the analysis of the video when Roy's going at Kyrgios and Edwin van der Sar and then Alex Ferguson as well. Like a hit list of people. Were you in that room at that stage?
Yeah, I was, yeah. Everyone was in the room. So, I mean, everyone witnessed it, but it is what it is, Like I said, two big personalities. It probably should have been done between them two.
Are you shocked immediately it happens, or are you like...
Listen, you know what Keane's like. Keane is as straight as he come. If he thinks something's wrong, he'll tell you. So I wasn't that shocked, if I'm being honest, but, it's not something that you want to see, every day. But it did happen, yeah, and it's a shame it did.
Did you think that was the end when that happened? That
yeah, probably.
There's no coming back from this.
I mean, the manager's the manager at the end of the day. He's got the respect from everyone as well. He's won all these trophies. He's been fantastic over the years. So yeah, it probably could have been handled a lot better. But like I said, when you've got two big personalities in a room, sometimes that can happen.
There's one other thing I wanted to play here. This is him talking about the game against Arsenal in the tunnel. This is the famous incident. We can play a video here. Just need to open the door for this as well.
Arsenal lads that time. I wasn't. People look back on my career. I wasn't really into that argy-bargy stuff in the tunnels and threatening people. I wasn't. Honestly, it wasn't my scene. Jesus, listen out. I wasn't. But when I see lads then almost picking on somebody, and I don't mean just on Nev. There was 3 or 4 of them, Martin Keane and people like that. So that probably it was more the bullying than kind of fellas getting stuck into each other on the pitch. I think if you have any argo with people, you bring it out onto the pitch, this tunnel stuff. And the most important thing about that night was, and maybe forgotten about, is that we had to win the game, and we won the game.
You were in the tunnel that day.
Yeah.
What's your recollection of that?
I mean, I don't exactly know what was being said to Nev at the time, because I was behind everyone else. But obviously, Keane must have overheard something. And, you know, Keane's very focused when he's going out to play. You know, he's the captain and he's ready to have battle. And I think at the time, you know, him and Vieira have had a lot of battles, but he must have overheard something. And, you know, being the captain that he was just sticking up for Nev.
They kicked the crap out of each other in that game. I don't know if you ever watched back on YouTube. They literally...
I watched a few games back, and you could kick a lot of people and you know, probably get away with it. It was just a different
Not even
game.
the booking. At one point, like, Roy literally kicks him at the hole, and play gets waved on.
I think they were both doing it to each other, and sometimes you have to respect that, you know, two warriors going at it. And yeah, that was I mean, that's obviously a famous scene now, that gets played every now and again.
Yeah.
But it just shows the battle from both sides of them, really. I think they were two tough guys who had a lot of respect for each other on the pitch.
And then years later, they kind of made up.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. I mean, they were both fantastic players and captains of the team. And sometimes, you know, Keane's sticking up for us and Vieira's sticking up for his team. And that's the way it goes.
Which is the best United team you played on?
Oh, it's a good one. I mean, to win what we did in '99, I don't think you can go past that. Even though I think the 08 squad probably had the guys to do that as well, but obviously getting beaten there by Portsmouth, you know, was a big blow for us. But it's so hard to do.
Because I know the 08 squad think they're better than the 99 team.
Yeah, well, if you look at the squad, it's frightening. You know, when you've got, for instance, Tevez, Rooney, Ronaldo up front alone, the defence, the midfield. You know, you still got your Scholes, Giggsy in there, your Carricks. It's hard, but at the end of the day, trophies tell you what's happened, and to win the treble,
yeah,
believe me. And the teams we played to get there in '99 were fantastic teams.
You played a good bit more in 08. Like, people would more say that was more your team than the 99 team.
Yeah, I would, but because I've been in both scenarios.
You're an honest broker then, because I know Rio Ferdinand would be like, no, our team was way better than their team.
Yeah, I can understand it, but I was in both. So from my point of view, to achieve what they did in '99 with the squad they had was much harder to do, and we underachieved in 08.
I have one last question for you. Is it difficult to talk about the team now as a pundit when you know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer so well, when he's a mate of yours? It must be easier when the manager is not somebody who you've worked with or been in dressing rooms with.
I mean, it is what it is. We all watch the games. You know, we all know the last results have not been good enough. We've been playing better, but they've not been good enough. So it has to change at some point.
Are you confident that...
I think it will. I think everyone has to buy into what Ollie's doing, and I think that's what he's hoping for. You can see changes in the way we're playing at the moment and the way we're attacking. You know, if we can...
all that stuff takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, the new players, I think, have done really well since they've come in. And he'll want more players as well, and probably get rid of more players. But, like, when you talk about it, that can't happen just in one season.
Yeah, and so that's why... If they've decided that this is their guy, they've got to give him time, irrespective of how bad it gets, to give him the opportunity to grow, because that's what the great managers all had.
I mean, people were saying, obviously, we've let Sanchez go now and Lukaku, but they're not going to play in the team. What's the point of keeping him?
Yeah.
Yes, it's made us short a little bit, but you've got to look forward to the future, and hopefully, if not January next transfer market, we bring in someone else.
Well, it's good stuff. Enjoy your time in Dublin. Thanks a million.
Thank you.